Think like the creator. Stop begging reality for permission. Introduction. Most people approach life as petitioners. They ask circumstances for permission to feel powerful, ask other people for proof that they matter, and ask the future to guarantee success before they move. But every time you beg reality to change first, you quietly declare that reality is the authority, and you are its dependent. This is not a lesson in arrogance, fantasy, or denying facts. It is an investigation into the position from which you think. By the end, you will understand the difference between wanting a new life and occupying the identity capable of building it. The throne in this story is not control over others. It is the recovery of authorship over your own attention, decisions, standards, and inner speech. Opening Return to the Throne. Stop for a moment. Stop looking up at the sky waiting for a sign. Stop asking permission to exist. You have spent entire lifetimes walking like a beggar, hand extended, pleading for a little love, a little health, a little money. You have built temples of stone to worship a god you imagine sitting on a distant throne, judging your mistakes and counting your sins. You have lived in fear. You have lived feeling small, a victim of luck, the government, the economy, the weather, but the game ends. This book is not a self-help manual. I did not come to teach you how to improve your human character. I came to wake you up from the dream of being human. The premise of this book is radical and forbidden by the dogmas that have kept you asleep. You are not separate from God. You are the mask that God has put on to experience this world. The intelligence that moves the galaxies, that makes your heart beat, and that dreams your dreams, is not up there. It is looking through your eyes at this very instant. The title is Think Like the Creator, because you have been thinking like a creature. The creature hopes the creator knows. The creature fights the mirror, so the reflection smiles. In the following chapters, we are going to dismantle the structure of your limited ego. I will teach you how to enter the workshop of imagination, the true place where reality is manufactured. You will learn that the physical world is not solid. It is a malleable screen that responds to the intensity of your emotion and the firmness of your attention. You will learn that you do not need to attract anything because you already contain everything. You only need to remember and assume. I warn you, this knowledge carries total responsibility. You will no longer be able to blame anyone for your destiny, not your parents, nor your past, nor bad luck. If you are the creator, everything you see is your work, the good and the bad. If you have the courage to accept that responsibility, you have the power to change everything. Welcome to your true throne. Welcome to the mind of God. Chapter 1. The psychology of the beggar, the great forgetting, the fall into matter. Before you had a name, before you had a date of birth, before you knew cold hunger or fear, you were not John or Mary or Robert. You had no age, you had no form, you were pure consciousness. You were a boundless extension of the source, floating in an ocean of absolute possibility. In that primal state, you knew everything. There was no separation, there was no pain, it was static perfection, but there was one problem with that perfection. There was no experience. Light cannot know itself unless it knows darkness. Silence cannot be appreciated unless it knows noise. Unconditional love is only a theoretical concept until it is tested against fear. The Creator, in its perfect solitude, desired to know itself. And to know itself, it had to divide. It had to dream. And you reading this now are that dream. This chapter is not about history or theology. It is about memory. We are going to trace the origin of your feeling of loneliness. Have you ever looked at the stars and felt an inexplicable nostalgia, a sharp sensation that this world, with all its absurd rules, bureaucracy, and suffering, is not your true home? That you have forgotten something important, but you cannot quite remember what it is? That nostalgia is not depression. It is not sadness. It is the echo of your origin. It is the Creator within you remembering for a brief instant who He was before putting on the mask of flesh and bone. Welcome to the story of the great forgetting. 1. The voluntary descent, the lie of sin. Organized religion has lied to you for millennia. They told you that you were expelled from paradise. They told you that you are here as punishment for an original sin, for an ancestral disobedience. They taught you to live with guilt, feeling unworthy, small, dirty. The metaphysics of the Creator corrects this fundamental error. You were not expelled. To demonstrate his art, he needs a stage. He needs a script. And above all, he needs to limit himself. If the actor goes on stage and remains himself, he cannot be Hamlet. To be Hamlet, he must temporarily forget who he is. Earth's atmosphere is dense. The vibration is low and heavy. The pure energy of your consciousness is too high, too much voltage. If you entered matter without protection, you would burn the biological circuits. You needed a vehicle. These the prison of external cause. By forgetting your divine nature and believing you are the suit, you fell under the most damaging illusion of all, the belief in external causes. You began to believe that the world happens to you instead of happening from you. You started saying, I got sick because there was a virus in the air. I'm poor because the country's economy is bad. The experiment of ignorance is over. It is time to remember. 1. The end of involution, the pivot of the spirit. To understand what is happening to you, you must grasp the mechanics of the universe. The cosmos breathes in two movements, involution and evolution. Involution is the spirit descending into matter. I am the one who chose the role. That second of lucidity changes everything. The pain may still be there, but the suffering disappears because suffering requires you to believe you are the victim. When you know you are the author, the pain becomes simply an intense scene that you yourself wrote to learn something. And as the author, you know you can rewrite it to metacognition, the first step of the throne. This is the state of the masters, to be in the world but not be of the world. 3. God is a verb, the dynamic of the I am. Now that you have found the witness, we must correct your theology. For centuries, you have searched for God as a noun, a being, a father, a force, something static, something external. But God is an action, and that verb is conjugated in the first-person present tense I am. You must pay a price. The price is guiltlessness. You must surrender the right to blame anyone for anything ever again. If you accept that you are the creator of your reality through your conscious and unconscious assumptions, then your parents are not to blame for your traumas. Your ex is not to blame for your pain. I need it so much. This prayer stinks of scarcity. The universe replies, you do not have it. The Creator prays by decreeing, giving thanks. Thank you, Father, because it is already done. Thank you for my perfect health. This prayer vibrates in abundance. The universe replies, it is yours. Be reaction versus action. The creature lives by reacting. Remember that they are still dreaming. You cannot explain color to someone whose eyes are closed. You have to turn on the light. The Creator works in secret. Gestation happens in the dark. The boss only pays you because you accept that you are worth that. You are the source of authority. Everything else is an intermediary. Withdraw your faith from objects, people, and circumstances, and place it in the only real cause, your own wonderful imagination. Chapter 2. The Cosmic Mirror. The law of reflection. Imagine a man who enters a bathroom, looks in the mirror and sees that his face is dirty. The man gets angry. He shouts at the mirror. He tries to wipe the spot by furiously rubbing the glass. He threatens the reflection to clean itself. He cries and begs the mirror to change. He spends years fighting the glass, and the glass, impassive, always gives him back the same image, an angry, desperate, dirty man. You would say that man is insane. However, that is exactly what you have been doing with your life. You have been trying to change your partner. You have been trying to change your economy. You have been fighting against politics, against illness, against luck. You have been rubbing the mirror of the world, hoping the image will change without you changing your face. The second law of the Creator is the law of reflection. The world is not a place, it is a screen. It has no life of its own, no will of its own, no capacity for decision. External reality is a neutral and perfect mirror that has only one function: to show you in 3D what you are in your consciousness. You do not get what you want, you get what you are. Welcome to the Hall of Mirrors. To operate as the Creator, you must understand the nature of matter. Do not be offended, it is a technical definition. Matter, money, houses, body, cells, circumstances, has no initiative. It is inert, moldable, and passive energy. It is waiting for orders. The universe does not conspire against you. The universe does not conspire for you. The universe simply reacts. It is like a photocopier. If you put in a sheet with a spelling mistake and press the button, the machine will give you 1,000 copies with the error. Does it make sense to get angry at the photocopier? Does it make sense to pray to it to correct the error in the next copy? The machine is neutral. The error is in the original, and the original is you. Poverty is not an injustice of the system. It is the reflection of a consciousness state of lack. Loneliness is not bad luck. It is the reflection of a consciousness state of abandonment. That is why fleeing a toxic relationship without changing your consciousness is useless. You will find the same person with a different face in the next relationship. The mirror will follow you wherever you go because you carry the face with you. If the law of reflection is so accurate, why doesn't my reality change instantly? Why, if I think like a rich person, do I still see a red account balance? He learns to walk the world, ignoring the evidence of the senses and trusting the evidence of his imagination. He walks through the empty house, but he feels the presence of his love. He looks at the zero balance, but he feels the gratitude of abundance. This seems like madness to the world, but it is the sanity of God. It is calling things that are not as if they were. The currency is not money. The currency is attention. Everything that exists in your life, good or bad, exists because you are paying for it with your attention. If you give attention to a plant, you water it. If you give attention to a problem, you water it. You are not real. You are an echo of the past. I will not give you my blood. When you take the emotion out of a problem, you cut off its oxygen. It dries up, and mysteriously it starts to resolve itself or disappears from your life. It has no current power. It is like watching a horror movie. You can get scared or you can remember it's a screen. They cannot hurt me. The creator looks at the chaos and says, pass. Imagine them saying exactly what you want to hear. Instead of shouting, imagine your boss saying, thank you for your excellent work. I value you very much. Instead of indifference, imagine your partner saying, I love you, and I love listening to you. Respond to them in your mind with joy. I'm glad you think so. Do this over and over. Ignore the current reality. Do not fight it. Simply pivot your attention. What if it goes wrong? Creator's response must silence. Everything always works out for me. You must insist that it is already true, even if everything says it is not. I do not see changes, but I know my order has been given and the universe is processing it. I will not dig up the seed with my doubt. The Creator does not look at the clock. I repeat this because it is vital. The Creator operates in secret. Do not go to your friends and tell them, I am applying the law of the mirror so my husband changes. They will look at you skeptically. Their words will act as weeds in your garden. And worse, by talking about it, you dissipate the energy. The storms calm when the master sleeps in the boat. Chapter 3. The Throne of the Mind. Assuming authority and the power of decree. For years you have allowed your doubts to govern your kingdom. You have allowed the news, the opinions of your neighbors, and your past traumas to dictate the laws of your life. You have been a king in exile, living like a beggar at the gates of your own palace. The third law of the Creator is the law of authority. The universe does not respond to need, it responds to authority. You do not get what you beg for. You get what you decree. The mind is not a debate space. It is the throne room from which orders are issued that matter must obey. Welcome to the reclamation of your crown. To operate reality, you must distinguish between two mental frequencies, the beggar and the king. The beggar, the creature, lives in the state of I want. His prayer is, please God, give me this. I need it so much. Look how much I suffer. This posture confirms the lack. By saying I want it, you are vibrationally affirming I do not have it. The king, the creator, lives in the state of I have. His prayer is, thank you, Father, because it is mine. He does not ask permission. He simply takes it in his imagination and occupies it. The king does not await validation. His own acceptance is the only necessary validation. The awakening involves stopping behaving like a spiritual beggar. Stop telling God your problems. God exists to create realities. Stop looking for signs. You chart the path. Assuming authority means that from your desires are not dreams. They are orders of execution. Here is the most important technical secret from Neville Goddard and high metaphysics. There is an enormous difference between thinking about something and thinking from something. Thinking about the end is looking at your desire as a distant object. You see the new house in your mind, but you are outside of it. You see it as something that will happen in the future. This creates anxiety and longing. Thinking from the end is entering the desire and looking at the world from there. You don't think about the house. You think from the house. You close your eyes and feel you are already inside. You look out the window from that perspective. The creator always thinks from. He places himself in the position of already fulfilled and looks backward. This psychological occupation is what collapses time. To sign your decrees, you need to use your real name. Your divine name. The name that has power over the elements is I am. Every time you utter I am, you are invoking the creative force. What you put after those two words is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you say I am poor, you are ordering your finances to contract. If you say I am sick, you are ordering your cells to decay. The Creator guards his I am with fanatical zeal. Never end that sentence with something you do not want to see manifested. If you feel pain, do not say I am sick. Say I am passing through a temporary cleansing, or simply affirm the higher truth. It is not lying. A king says, let it be done, or it is so. You must cleanse your mental vocabulary. Substitute hope with certainty. Hope is for those who doubt. Certainty is for those who know. The problem is that your attention has been hijacked. Everything competes for a piece of your soul. The protocol for reclaiming the scepter. You are going to become greedy with your attention. You will practice withdrawal of attention. You lunch on complaints. You dine on worries. You are what you eat mentally as well. You must establish a strict mental diet. This is not superficial positive thinking. In that silence, your power grows through the art of the inner monologue, God's conversation. Your reality is the crystallization of your inner dialogue. What do you say to yourself when no one is listening? That constant conversation is the most potent creation tool you possess. It is God speaking, and what God says is, when you have a desire, a project, a healing, a goal, the human tendency is to tell someone. By speaking of it, you release internal pressure. The energy that should be used to create is spent on talking. The pressure cooker loses its steam and no longer cooks. The other person will inevitably project their doubts onto you. Look at this. The king remains seated. Neville Goddard called this brazen impudence. It is the audacity to deny the evidence of the senses in favor of the mind's decree. It is looking at the notice and saying, this is a reality error. This is an echo of the past. Repeat this new scene until it feels real. You are altering the vibrational past. By changing the past, you change the trajectory of the future. Never go to bed feeling like a victim. Go to bed having won the day, even if only in your imagination. When you achieve that naturalness, the manifestation occurs. You will know that you sitting on your throne in the silence of your mind moved the threads of the universe. Chapter 4. The Workshop of Imagination, the Engine Room and the Invisible Architecture. Now you are ready to work. You look around at your physical life and see solid objects. Your house, your car, your body, your money, they seem final, hard, unmovable. But the Creator knows a secret. Everything that is solid was first vapor. Look at the chair you're sitting on. Before it was wood and cloth, it was an image in the mind of a designer. Look at the building where you live. Before it was brick and cement, it was an invisible blueprint in the mind of an architect. Nothing, absolutely nothing, exists in the physical world without having first existed in the imaginal world. The fourth law of the Creator establishes imagination is not a state of escapism. It is the true reality. The physical world is only the 3D imprint of what has already been built in 4D. To say it's just my imagination is the supreme blasphemy. Imagination is God in action. Welcome to the engine room. When you were a child, you lived in the workshop. A cardboard box was a rocket, and you felt the speed of the rocket. You were the creator in training. Then the adults, the sleeping creatures, told you, grow up, be realistic. They amputated your power. They made you believe that imagining is synonymous with lying to yourself or wasting time. But I'm going to tell you the technical truth. You have never stopped imagining. You have simply started using your imagination against yourself. Worry is the masterful use of your imagination to create what you do not want. You feel the fear of disaster. You live the scene of disaster before it happens. You are a brilliant architect building prisons. The awakened creator does not stop imagining. He simply changes the blueprints. He stops designing dungeons and starts designing palaces. You must understand the topography of the universe. We live in a world of 3 dimensions. Things are slow here. Here you have to move objects with your hands, but there is a 4th dimension. It is the world of imagination. In 4D, there is no time or distance. Imagination is the projection booth. If you do not like the movie of your life, it is useless to shout at the screen, fighting physical problems. You have to go to the booth and change the film reel. That act of going to the booth is what we call praying or imagining. Most people are somnambulist architects. You see yourself from the outside having success. You are watching a movie of yourself. This generates nostalgia for what you do not have. You do not see yourself. You see the world through your eyes. A short, simple scene that implies fulfillment. That scene will be the mold into which you pour your energy. The physical world is just the results screen. To change the movie, you must stop fighting the screen and go to the projection booth, the workshop. You know you must have a master blueprint, a specific final scene, and that you must enter it, not view it from outside. When you dream at night, you see, touch, hear, and taste without using your physical eyes or hands. To you, the dream is real while it lasts. The creator learns to activate these inner senses at will while awake. To build in 4D, you must use the 5 spiritual senses. A touch, the master sense. Your reptilian brain does not distinguish between a multi-sensory hologram and 3D reality. If you manage to get your inner senses to confirm the reality, your brain starts releasing the chemistry of success right now to the SAT state, the workshop gate. You cannot enter the workshop in the midst of the day's noise with brain waves in beta alert stress. The security guard logic won't let you pass. You need to enter an altered state of consciousness. Do it 10, 20, 50 times, because the first time your mind wanders, the second time it focuses, the 10th time it starts adding details, the 20th time the scene comes alive. If you give it a present experience, it executes it. Your scene must have the tone of immediacy. 5, the tones of reality. How to know if it worked? How does the creator know that the work in the workshop has been successful? Don't get into the how. Once you have left the workshop, your logical mind, the scared foreman, will want to intervene. Okay, we imagine the money, but how will it arrive? Do I need to buy a lottery ticket? Do I need to work more? Trust the engineers of the universe. They know how to move the pieces better than you. There is a fine line between being a persistent creator and being an obsessive beggar. Persistence is returning to the workshop every night to enjoy the scene, to reinforce it, like visiting your favorite house. You do it from the pleasure of having it. It means maintaining the dignity of wealth in your attitude. It means closing your mouth when you are about to complain. It means changing the channel when there is talk of crisis. You must be faithful to your invisible creation until it becomes visible. This loyalty to the invisible is what the Bible calls faith. Chapter 5. The language of vibration. Feeling is the secret and the cosmic radio. You have visualized your desire. You have repeated the scene in your mind. But you look outside and nothing happens, because the universe is deaf. The quantum field, infinite intelligence, God does not understand your human language. It doesn't understand Spanish or English or Latin. It does not listen to your words. It doesn't care about your logical thoughts. The universe only understands one language, vibration. You can shout, "I am rich 1,000 times a day." But if your stomach is contracted by the fear of poverty, the universe hears the fear and it gives you more poverty. You can visualize the love of your life. But if your heart emits the frequency of loneliness and despair, the universe hears the loneliness and it gives you more isolation. The 5th law of the Creator is the law of resonance. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. And what you are is defined by the dominant vibration you emit. Thought is the electrical signal, the form. But emotion is the magnetic signal, the attraction. Without emotion, thought has no power of attraction. Feeling is the secret. Welcome to the transmission station. Imagine you are a radio. You want to listen to classical music. Classical music is broadcast on frequency 101, 5 FM, but your inner dial is tuned to 88. 0 Aero FM scarcity, where only crisis news plays. You can pray to the radio. You can shout at it. You can put stickers that say "I love classical music" on it. But until you turn the dial to 101, 5, you will never hear the music. Most people live asking for a reality new music but maintaining their old frequency, old dial. They believe that if they suffer enough, God will take pity and change the music. God is not a capricious DJ. God is the electricity that powers the radio. He tells you, son, the music is playing, tune in. Changing your life does not require physical effort. It requires vibrational adjustment. You must compel your emotional body to vibrate at the frequency of your desire before the desire appears. It is a paradox. You must feel rich to attract money. You must feel love to attract a partner. The universe does not give to you so that you may feel. You feel so that the universe may give to you. Here is where Neville Goddard corrected the biggest mistake in popular metaphysics. When we say feeling is the secret, people think of explosive emotions. They think they must be jumping for joy, crying with happiness, or in a state of constant ecstasy to manifest. That is exhausting and unsustainable. The Creator's true feeling is naturalness and relief. It is a deep sigh of relief. It is the feeling of saying, finally it is done, I don't have to worry anymore. That profound peace, that absence of anxiety, is the most potent magnetic signal that exists. Your brain is electric, your heart is magnetic. The tighter you squeeze, the more it escapes. The Creator does not need, the Creator chooses and has. To manifest something great, you must reduce the importance you give it. You must lose your reverence for money. How do you break this loop? How do you generate the feeling of desire fulfilled when your senses scream that the desire is absent? It is not done by fighting reality. It is done by tricking it. We enter the emotion laboratory. Close your eyes and ask yourself this exact question. How would I feel right now if my desire were already a fact? Do not look for an intellectual answer with words. Look for the sensation. Let the question fall into your subconscious like a stone in a well. You have to step into the character of the new you, the energetic wardrobe protocol. Imagine you put on the suit of your successful version. How does that version of you walk? How does it breathe? The sigh exercise several times a day for no apparent reason. Inhale deeply and exhale, releasing a genuine sigh of relief as if you had just received the best news of your life. Tell yourself mentally, thank you. It is done. If you practice relief, the universe will rush to bring you the reasons to be relieved, because the mirror always has to match the original. The world is going to hit you. It is like a perfume you wear. If you wear a rose perfume wherever you go, you smell like roses. Your job is to put on the perfume of success or love or health in the morning and not take it off. It means maintaining a background hum of well-being, a silent confidence. How do you put on the perfume? It is strong energy. Do not try to calm down. It's hard to stop a train. Change the train tracks. Use that same intensity to visualize success. Yes, I already know I'm rich. When your great desire becomes so normal in your vibration that it no longer excites you, that is when it materializes, because it has stopped being a vibrational peak and has become your base state. And the universe always manifests your base state. Chapter 6. The Alchemy of Attention. Where you put the eye, you put life. You wake up tired, live anxiously, and go to sleep drained. You think it's because of work or age or stress. You're exhausted because you are being bled dry. Every time you worry about distant news, you lose blood. Every time you argue mentally with someone, you lose blood. Every time you focus on your pain or your debt, you lose blood. That blood is not physical, it is creative power. The sixth law of the Creator is the law of attention. Attention is not a passive function of observation. It is an active function of nourishment. What you pay attention to, you are feeding with your own life. What you observe grows. What you ignore dies. You are the sun of your universe, and your rays give life to both the flowers and the weeds. You choose what to illuminate. Welcome to the alchemy of attention. You must understand that attention is the only real currency you have. Money comes and goes. Time is an illusion. But your attention is your divine capital. With your attention, you buy reality. You have two options. Spending attention is giving away your focus to things you do not desire but which hypnotize you. Fear, gossip, scandal, complaint. When you do this, you are throwing your cosmic money into the trash. You are financing your own misery. Investing attention is deliberately directing your focus toward what you wish to see grow. Your health, your project, your peace. When you do this, the capital grows and returns interest. The Creator is a miser with his attention. He doesn't give it to just anyone. If a thought of doubt comes, the Creator says, "I don't have the budget for you," and he withdraws his gaze. If a new story of crisis comes, the Creator says, "I don't finance catastrophes," and he changes the channel. Here is the trap where fighters fall. You believe that to eliminate a problem, an illness, an enemy, a debt, you must fight it. You must beat cancer. You must end poverty. Metaphysics tells you error. To fight something, you have to look at it. You have to focus on it. You have to interact with it. By fighting the monster, you are giving it your total attention. You are feeding it with your struggle energy. That is why what you resist persists. The struggle is a form of negative worship. You keep the enemy alive on your mental altar. The Creator does not fight. Ignoring is not burying your head in the sand. It is withdrawing life support. You think of 10 things at once. Your energy is diluted. That is why your manifestations are weak or slow. To cut the steel of reality and mold it to your liking, you need to become a laser. This is called unidirectional attention. You will initially be called ignorant or disconnected. You will know the truth. You are disconnecting from the illusion to connect to the source. When you stop feeding the world's negativity with your attention, you reclaim a massive amount of free energy. That free energy is what you will use to build your empire. Negative attention works by inertia, momentum. It starts with a small thought. My head hurts a little. You have created an unstoppable snowball. The sniper's secret is to kill the thought when it is small. Do not engage in dialogue. Simply shoot it and replace it. You are retraining a wild animal. Eventually, the animal will learn that certain paths are forbidden and will stop going down them. The Creator's greatest challenge is operating in the physical world, which is full of problems, without losing connection with the imaginal world, which is perfect. Live in the truth. While taking the physical action, keep your emotional attention on the certainty that this is just a temporary procedure and that the true reality is perfection. The Creator is not a dreamer who denies that rain is wet. The Creator is one who walks in the rain, knowing that the sun is shining above the clouds, and focuses on the sun even while drying the water. This ability to divide attention is the supreme mastery. Your mind is too agitated to create positive scenes. In those moments, do not try to force imagination. Use a golden anchor. The anchor is something external that captures your attention and automatically elevates it effortlessly. That anchor is beauty. Here the Creator uses compartmentalization. You can't ignore the elephant 24 hours a day, but you can put it in a cage, assign an office hour for the problem. Tell yourself, I will dedicate attention to this problem for one clearly defined half hour. During that time, I will call lawyers, cry, worry, and do what I have to do. When that period ends, the problem ceases to exist. You let it be there, blurry, unimportant. What you do not focus on becomes unfocused, and what becomes unfocused loses reality. Finally, remember that attention is love. Paying attention is the greatest act of love. Where you put the eye, you put God. Make sure you put God into things that deserve to be divine. Chapter 7. Time is an illusion, the eternal now and the death of waiting. The seventh law of the Creator is the law of timelessness. Time is not a distance you must travel to reach your desire. It is an illusion of the senses used to organize experience. For the Creator, tomorrow and yesterday do not exist. Everything that has happened and everything that will happen is occurring simultaneously in the eternal. If you are waiting for your desire, you are pushing it away. The Creator does not wait. Welcome to the destruction of the clock. The creature lives in horizontal time. It believes the past is behind and carries it like a backpack, and that the future is ahead and chases it like a carrot. In this model, your desire is far away in the future. That is why you feel you have to run or wait to reach it. That distance is suffering. The Creator lives in vertical time. The now is not a bridge between the past and the future. It is a complete dimension in itself. If you stop and enter deeply into this second, where is time? You don't have to travel toward your desire in time. You just have to tune into it in the future is not a place you go to. It is a frequency you bring here. Most people live their lives in a waiting room. I'll be happy when I get married. I'll feel safe when I have the money. I'll rest when I retire. You are postponing your life. You are saying the now is incomplete, the now is insufficient, but tomorrow never comes. The Creator knows that waiting is a state of consciousness. If you are waiting, you are vibrating in absence. The universe will give you more waiting. To manifest, you must exit the waiting room and enter the possession room. Why are you impatient? Impatience is the mask of disbelief. If you buy something on Amazon and receive the "Your order has been shipped" email, do you pace anxiously wondering where it is? You know it is a logistical fact. Tranquility is the proof of faith. The Creator rests in logistical certainty. I have placed my order in the imagination. I have paid the price with my attention. The delivery is guaranteed. I do not have to push the delivery truck with my mind. It will arrive at the perfect moment. How do you eliminate psychological time? By making the future feel like memory. When you remember something that happened yesterday, it feels solid, real, done. The master's trick is to remember the future. You don't imagine I will get the job. You imagine it is so great that I got the job last week. Waiting is a declaration of absence, and impatience is the signature of doubt. But the clock keeps ticking and your logical mind screams, the metaphysics is nice, but we need a solution now. This temporal pressure is the acid test. If you sustain the calmness of the "it is done" as the clock ticks toward the final second, you break the matrix and the miracle occurs. We enter the timelessness protocol. These are the precise instructions for operating in a world of clocks without being a slave to time. You are collapsing the wave function repeatedly into the same position of lack. To allow transformation, you must withdraw the watchful gaze. You must give the universe the dark private space it needs to rearrange the atoms, the discipline of non-verification. The Creator plants the seed, imagines the end, and then withdraws. I have accepted this as truth. Now there is nothing more that I can do. It is in the hands of the law. That moment of letting go is the trigger. Anxiety is the result of trying to live the future. You are carrying a 100 days at once. The just for this breath exercise. When temporal anxiety attacks, reduce your time horizon. Reduce your focus to the next 10 minutes. Tell yourself, I have the capacity and resources to handle these next 10 minutes with dignity and peace. I will only deal with this. By living in the micro-anxiety which needs the future to survive starves, your mind clears and the external world by resonance begins to flow. To accelerate manifestation, you must slow down your anxiety. Why does the universe wait until the last minute? Because it is a test of trust. If the money had arrived a week ago, you wouldn't have had to exercise your faith. The active preparation kills the anxiety of waiting. It tells your subconscious, I am not waiting, I am getting ready. It is an act of physical faith. Preparing the barn is the best way to invoke the rain. Your ego has a calendar. The infinite wisdom sees the whole picture. You only see your immediate need. Trust that your desire has its own intelligence and knows the perfect time to be born. For those moments when the illusion of temporal distance is unbearable, use the most advanced technique. Situate yourself mentally a year after your desire is fulfilled. Stay still, maintain the vision, and let time do its work of bringing the harvest to your door. Chapter 8. Responsibility without self-blame. The revision of the past, editing memory and temporal alchemy. You look back, you see a path strewn with mistakes. You see the opportunity you let pass. You see the hurtful word you said. You see the day your heart was broken. You see the accident, the bankruptcy, the shame. Your logical mind tells you that already happened. It is set in stone. You have to live with the consequences. That is the most paralyzing lie of human consciousness. Believing that the past is fixed turns you into a pillar of salt. It forces you to define yourself by what you were, preventing you from being what you are. As long as you keep telling the same sad story of your past, you will keep imprinting the same sad pattern on your future. The Creator does not accept the tyranny of facts. The Creator knows a secret that quantum physics is starting to discover. The past does not exist. And memory is an event that occurs here, and when you remember something, you are reactivating it in the present. You are bringing that old vibration into the current moment, and if the vibration is active now, then it is modifiable. Welcome to the art of revision. Welcome to the time machine. Modern neuroscience and ancient mysticism agree. Every time you access a memory, you are not pulling an original file from a drawer. You are reconstructing it. Your brain rewrites the memory every time you visit it, adding your current emotion. If you remember a divorce with bitterness, you are re-recording the bitterness. You are strengthening the neural network of pain. It is not about denying that the event occurred in the physical 3D world. It is about changing the vibrational effect of the event on your soul. If you change the memory, you change the cause. Imagine your life is a garden. Your past days are the branches. Some branches are sick, twisted, or dead. If you leave them there, the disease will spread to the trunk and to the new branches, the future. Most people water their dead branches with guilt and regret. You are jumping from a line where you had a traumatic past to a line where you had a past that strengthened you or that never occurred vibrationally. The biggest obstacle to manifesting a new life is guilt. Guilt is a gigantic anchor. It tells you you do not deserve to be happy because you failed. You do not deserve money because you wasted it. He enters the office mentally again. This time he sees himself confident. He hears him say, "Excellent, you are hired." He feels the handshake. He repeats it until he feels the relief that it was a success. These are the precise instructions to cleanse your timeline and free your future from the chains of yesterday. One protocol, one daily revision, soul hygiene. This is the Creator's fundamental habit. Just as you brush your teeth before sleeping, so as not to accumulate bacteria, you must wash your memory so as not to accumulate subconscious negativity. If you go to bed with the residue of the day's frustrations, your subconscious, which does not sleep, will use those residues as seeds to create your tomorrow. Do it until the new version feels more natural than the old version, until the emotional tension of the real event disappears and is replaced by the relief of the imagined version. By doing this, you are sanctimoniously tricking your subconscious. The subconscious will archive the revised version as the real fact. You will sleep with the vibration of success and harmony, and the next day you will wake up in an adjusted timeline. Those tears are the release of the ancient poison. When you open your eyes, something will have changed in your biology. You will have released a weight of 20 or 30 years. Your posture will change. Your chronic anxiety will diminish, because in a very real and quantum sense, the trauma no longer exists. Feel the leap in your heart. Feel the sigh of relief. My God, what good news. Do this until when you think of that paper. The first image that comes to your mind is the positive version, not the negative one. I'm so happy to hear you say that. I knew you could maintain this imaginary conversation. Every time you think of that person, don't remember them as the sick one or the problematic one. Remember them as the successful version you just created. You are holding a vibrational space for them to ascend. Therefore, I withdraw my consent and my energy. You are choosing to be faithful to your divine vision instead of being faithful to a historical accident. What do you prefer? To be right about your misery? Yes, it was horrible. Recovered innocence returning to Eden. The ultimate goal of revision is not just to get things or fix problems, it is to recover innocence. To create miracles, you need the faith of a child. But it is difficult to have childlike faith when you carry the cynicism, guilt, and scars of an adult. While the imagined version will feel warm and familiar. When that happens, the healing is complete. You have burned the karma. You have broken the chain of cause and effect. Chapter 9. The Silence of Power. Tell no one in the law of containment. You have a desire. You have planted the seed in your imagination. You feel the emotion of it is done, and then you feel an irresistible urge in your throat. You want to tell your partner. You want to post it on social media. You want to tell your best friend, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to heal myself with my mind. You think you are sharing your joy. You are seeking permission. Deep down, your faith is still fragile. You need someone else to tell you that's a great idea. I'm sure you can do it. You seek an external mirror to hold your faith because you cannot yet hold it alone. But the world will not give you faith. It will give you doubts. They will say, be realistic. That is very difficult. And in that moment, your balloon is pricked. The energy you had accumulated dissipates. The Creator knows that gestation requires darkness. The seed dies if you expose it to the sun too early. The fetus needs the secrecy of the womb. Talking about your manifestation before it happens is a spiritual abortion. Welcome to the discipline of hermetic silence. Understand this as a mechanical law, not a moral one. Manifestation works by psychic pressure. When you intensely desire something and imagine it, you generate energy. That energy seeks an outlet. It has two ways to exit: through the mouth, talking, bragging, or through the fact, materializing. If you talk, you open the safety valve. You feel relieved of the tension of holding the desire, but there is no longer enough pressure to push physical reality. The Creator keeps the valve closed. He swallows the secret. That accumulated energy, finding no verbal escape, is forced by physical law to condense into matter. Silence is the compressor of the miracle. The Master of Galilee left a technical instruction. Do not give what is holy to the dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces. This is not an insult to people. It is a description of states of consciousness. The swine are minds that do not understand the vision, the logical, cynical, or fearful minds. Your pearls are your net desires, your fragile dreams. If you tell your vision of becoming a millionaire to a friend who vibrates in scarcity, a vibrational swine, he will trample the pearl with his logic. The economy is bad, and worst of all, they will turn and tear you in pieces. Their doubts will stick in you. You will feel stupid for dreaming. They will have torn your faith to pieces. Why do you want to tell? Because the ego feels lonely on the throne. The ego says, if no one knows I'm the king, am I really the king? The Creator answers, yes, I know it, and that is enough. Learning to keep silent is learning to self-validate. It is reaching the point of spiritual maturity where your own inner conviction is more real to you than the opinion of 7 billion people. If you need to convince others, it is because you have not convinced yourself. You need to learn to be a sphinx. We enter the tactical silence protocol. These are the instructions to protect your Holy of Holies while interacting with the profane world. 1. The psychology of the leak. Why we want to talk. Do not relieve it by talking. Use it to burn the old reality, the art of verbal aikido. When dream vampires interrogate you, do not get defensive. Do not get angry. Interrogation about the problem. How is your back? Does it still hurt a lot? It's improving every day. The matter is under control. Protocol 2, the inner circle. The danger of the partner. What if your partner is a radical skeptic? What if you sleep with the vibrational enemy? Your loyalty to your soul is above your loyalty to your partner's ignorance. If we have money to spare, we are so calm. Manifest for them. Be the anonymous magician of your family, the energy of mystery. Silence has a wonderful side effect. As soon as you discover you are the Creator, you want to save all your depressed friends. No one hates an unsolicited prophet more than one who loves their chains. If you try to teach before having demonstrated massive results, you will be ridiculed. You lack moral authority. The Creator follows the rule. Hey, you changed your car, things worked out. Maintain a touch of ambiguity. Attribute your success to luck or circumstances if necessary to protect your peace. Be Clark Kent in the office, but fly when no one is looking. There is a way to break silence internally. If you find it hard to restrain yourself, I propose a challenge. For the next 7 days, commit to not speaking of anything negative and not speaking of any future plan. Speak only of the immediate present and neutral or positive facts. Observe what happens to your energy. By the 5th day, you will feel a brutal increase in physical creative energy. Cross the desert with your mouth closed and your head held high. Chapter 10. Active surrender. Letting the Father do the work. In the bridge of incidents. The 10th and final law of the Creator is the law of surrender. Creation is already finished in the mind. Physical manifestation does not require your effort. It requires your consent. You are the architect, the one who decides the what. But infinite wisdom is the engineer, the one who decides the how. If you try to do the engineer's job, you spoil the work. Your only physical task is to walk across the bridge of incidents that the universe extends beneath your feet. Welcome to the rest of action. We must clarify the technical theology. When Jesus said, I and the Father are one, but then added, the Father is greater than I, he was describing the relationship between your conscious mind, you the Son, and your subconscious universal mind, the Father. The Son conscious has the power to select. You choose the seed. You decide, I want to be rich. You visualize the scene. The Father's subconscious has the power to execute. He knows how to move the 8 billion people on the planet, how to align coincidences, how to influence markets, how to regenerate cells. He has a 360-degree vision. You only see what is in front of your nose. The fatal mistake is when the Son tries to do the Father's job. Your plans are small. They are limited by your logic. The Father has ways that you do not know. Active surrender is the act of saying, "Father, I have selected the destination. I hand you the wheel. Take me there." Surrendering does not mean becoming passive or lazy. It does not mean lying on the couch waiting for a sack of money to knock on the door. Surrender is an internal posture, not external. Internally, you are surrendered. You have no anxiety, no doubts. You know it is done. Externally, you are available. But you do them from inspiration, not from desperation. You send 100 resumes with fear. You call your ex 20 times. It is rowing against the current. Suddenly you feel the impulse to go to a specific coffee shop. You go and there you meet someone key. It is raising the sail. The Creator only acts when he feels the wind of intuition at his back. If there is no wind, he does not row. He sharpens the axe, but he does not force. Once you have surrendered the desire to the Father, he will build a bridge of incidents. It is a series of events that will take you from where you are to where you want to go. Warning, the bridge does not always look good. At first you imagined a successful business. Do not put your hand in the oven. Let the cake rise. You know that your conscious mind, the Son, selects the destination, but it is the universal subconscious mind, the Father, who charts the route. You know that the how is forbidden territory for your limited logic. And you know that the bridge of incidents may look like a rocky path before it turns into a golden road. To practice active surrender, you need a reliable navigation system. That system is installed in your solar plexus and your heart. Your body is a biological antenna that captures signals from the future before your brain. You must learn to differentiate two types of impulse for action. They the impulse of contraction, forced action, fear. Do not doubt it. Do not analyze it. Follow the breadcrumb trail. Mastery consists of having the discipline to stay still during contraction and the courage to move fast during expansion. 2. The protocol of lead feet and wind wings. A coincidence, a meeting. In that moment, activate the wind wings. Leave what you are doing and follow the signal. The universe rewards patience with precision, walking the bridge of incidents without judgment. If you maintain the vision of the end, anything that happens in the middle is by definition the correct path for it. The art of releasing the how God's box. If your mind is obsessive and cannot stop strategizing, you need a physical ritual to let go. Use the God's box technique. Get a nice box, meaning the imaginal work was complete and the resurrection was inevitable. You must reach that point in your consciousness, the point where you no longer visualize to obtain, but visualize to enjoy. The point where you no longer have hunger because you feel full. That state of satiety is the signal that the spiritual pregnancy is viable. This is supreme freedom. You can play at being rich, play at being loved, play at being healthy. And because it is a divine game, what you play with conviction becomes your solid reality. The book ends here, but your life begins. Do not use this knowledge to become a solitary monk. Now you have two options. You can turn off this audio, go back to your routine, turn on the news and forget what you have heard. You can go back to sleep in the victim's dream, or you can dare to test it. Do not believe me. Conclusion. The unwritten choice. The central lesson of Think Like the Creator is not that a single thought controls every event. It is that unconscious patterns become powerful when they remain unnamed. The moment a pattern can be observed, it can be questioned. The moment it can be questioned, a different response becomes possible. Bring the central idea back to ordinary life. Choose one situation in which you usually react automatically. Name the pattern without condemning yourself. Decide what a more conscious response would look like, and practice that response in one small action. A principle becomes useful only when it changes what you notice and what you do. Do not use these ideas to blame yourself for circumstances outside your control, to ignore material conditions, or to replace qualified care. Use them where your agency is real. The meaning you assign, the standards you keep, the language you repeat, the attention you train, and the next action you choose. When identity becomes the source of action, reality stops looking like a wall and begins to reveal its hidden architecture. The purpose of this journey is not to replace evidence, professional care, or practical action with belief. It is to make your inner participation visible so that attention, language, emotion, and behavior can become conscious instruments rather than invisible habits.